earlier the guidance was around 33 to 34%. But those are the Nestle numbers on your screen.
Yep.
Net profit is lower than expectations, Mangalam, 655 crores.
It's a rare miss that Nestle has reported because I'm just looking at the revenue overall. The revenue is coming close to 4,600 crores. The street was working with a number of 4,700 plus crores, and as a result of which, perhaps maybe the profit has come in lower than expectations as well. I'm just looking for the EBITDA as well. Meanwhile, this time around there was a mild expansion in margins which was anticipated. The company did see their total sales grow at just about 8.3%. Domestic sales grew by 9%. We're working with a number upwards of 10 to 11%. It will be important to see what the volume growth has been for their Maggi vertical in particular, largely because same time last year they had taken price hikes on their Maggi low unit packs, which is now normalizing. So that would have aided their volume. So is it a case of realizations which are lower, as we've seen in Britannia as well? But as of now, looks like the top line is a mild miss on expectations, and that's flown down to the bottom line as well. Just trying to calculate the EBITDA. Our team should put that up for us as well. 4,600 crore on the top line for Nestle. Some commentary coming in from Suresh Narayanan. He has said that there's been some, out-of-home business which has accelerated rapidly during this quarter. All key brands, products, groups have contributed significantly, and despite external challenges, they've reported strong performance. So external challenges is something that Suresh Narayanan, again, along with all the other FMCG companies, has been alluding to as well. The net profit is a miss despite a one-time gain of 107 crores. So that's something we need to be mindful of as well. EBITDA, there you have it, about 100 crores lower than street expectations, 1,077 crores.
Okay, well, in fact, we do have Abneesh Roy, who's the Executive Director at Nuvama Institutional Equities, to talk about Nestle's numbers. Well, Abneesh, there seems to be a miss which has come in terms of the profitability. There's a one-time gain which has come through, but despite that, what is your reading on the profit? And, I just want to add that the stock has recovered.
Yeah, in terms of numbers, sales growth around 6.5%, 7%. I think that's reasonable performance. So revenue is around 1.5% below our estimate, so largely in line. In terms of margins also, broadly, it's in line with our expectations, slightly below street expectations. So what's working for Nestle is clearly almost 75% of their revenue in India comes from urban, which is still growing faster than rural, where there is a slowdown for many other companies. Even in rural, Nestle is taking proactive steps. So I would
Abneesh,
say that going ahead, yes.
Just hang in there, because our team was flashing that it is a one-time gain that the company has posted this time around. It is actually a one-time loss. The exceptional item in the quarter is the past service cost of 107 crores recognized on account of change in cost of servicing to the defined pension benefit under the company's unfunded pension plan. So we just request the team to fix that. Okay, that's a one-time loss, and that reflects the mutedness that we've seen in the profitability as against our expectations. But you were speaking about the revenues slightly below street expectations. The EBITDA also a mild miss. The stock, however, is seeing a bit of recovery because, the net profit has that element of 107 crores. Go ahead, Abneesh.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So it's a slight miss versus consensus, and because EBITDA was also in line with our expectation, the PAT miss was because of the one-off thing which you explained. So going ahead also in terms of growth expectation, we expect urban growth to be faster, and now key raw material milk has also corrected. So Nestle output in terms of margin is also decent. So we continue to remain positive. Slight miss is there, but that's not something which is really a significant miss in our view.
Okay, well, just some details from the press release where domestic sales have grown by around 8.9%. This is on the back of a pricing as well as price and mix growth, with strong growth momentum in e-commerce as well as out-of-home channels. And I just want to point out that e-commerce, in fact, delivered strong growth, contributing to around 7% of domestic sales this quarter. They have indicated that they have crossed the 19,000 crore mark in terms of total sales as well. But nonetheless, Abneesh just wanted to point out 8.9% growth in terms of the domestic market, combination of both pricing as well as the mix in terms of products. What is your expectation for Nestle when they end FY24 and probably going into FY25 as well?
Yes, so if you compare Nestle's performance in this quarter versus other food companies, so Britannia had 2% revenue growth. Even HUL's FNR portfolio was the only segment out of their three segments which saw, in fact, volume dip. And in fact, Marico Food also was a disappointing show versus their initial expectation. So I would say that 8.9% is a good achievement. And Nestle continues to remain in top tier in terms of performance. My sense is that will continue. Now going ahead, pricing will be around 2% growth in the coming quarters because most of the raw material is benign. But volume growth, my sense is 6% kind of number should be expected in the coming quarters also. Our sense is even this quarter, the volume growth will be broadly 5-6%. They don't give out that number. We'll wait for that clarity. But 8.9% is a good number.
I'm just awaiting that clarity, Abneesh, myself. But, you know, your point is well taken that while it is lower than what the street was anticipating, it is much higher than the other players in the industry. And understandably so, as a result of which Nestle also gets a higher multiple because it has been performing better than street over the last many quarters. Thank you for joining in. We'll perhaps connect with you later once Tata Consumers numbers do come out as well. We also have Kaustubh with us. Kaustubh, these numbers, yes, they are better than the industry, slightly below street expectations. Stocks doing well, trading at around 69 times 2-year forward earnings. What is your call on Nestle?
See, the performance is largely in line with what we were anticipating, a slight miss on revenues, but domestic growth of 9% is obviously better than what other FMCG companies or other food companies has delivered. And I agree with the point that volume growth would have been in the 5 to 6%. And this has been consistent for Nestle if you look from the domestic business performance point of view. Obviously, valuations are at the premium, which does not provide much of the upside. But I think for Nestle, from the performance point of view, I think this performance, 6 to 7% kind of a volume growth, should in the domestic business should continue.
Okay, all right, Kaustubh, we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking with us and giving us your analysis on Nestle. That stock is up around 1.5%. There was a one-time loss which took place. Just want to point out, Mangalam, and this is very relevant to me, that there was strong demand for Nescafe Classic, Nescafe Sunrise, and the beverages product group was the largest contributor to growth. Their beverage business witnessed a double-digit growth, and Nescafe gained a significant market share.
Well, Nescafe would gain a significant market share because it's inflationary times and these guys usually do that. The only thing that we need to know is that that double-digit growth, has it been led by pricing or has it been led by volumes?
I was referring more to the coffee.
To the coffee. Well, on that note, what we'll do is take a short break, get a coffee break, come back, tell you more about the markets and individual stocks.